everybody, and welcome back, and welcome to the summer book tag. I got tagged to do this by John over at Walker87, so thank you so much for tagging me in this. I'm really looking forward to these prompts. You guys should definitely go check out John's channel. He does loads of really interesting tags and lots of good reviews. And again, thank you so much for tagging me in this and for tagging me in the other tags that you have tagged me in. That was a lot of times I just said the word tagged. Yeah. So without any further ado, let's get on to the questions. Number one is a book cover that reminds you of summer. I'm going to go with Summer Bird Blue by Akemi Dawn Bowman. So obviously it's got the word summer in the title, and I think just the wave and the fact that it's sort of set in Hawaii just really gives me sort of summery vibes. It's about this girl whose sister dies in a car accident, and her mother sends her to go live with her aunt in Hawaii whilst the two of them really come to terms with their grief, and it's just a really brilliant book. And yeah, there's, you know, they go surfing at one point. It's definitely got very summery vibes, and yeah, the cover is just very summery and very sort of oceany, and I love it. Next up is a book that brightened your day. And I'm going to have to go with We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal. This is the second book in the We Hunt the Flame duology, and it brightened my day because I love the found family in this. I love the enemies to lovers romance. It's just such a good book and so much good stuff happens. And it also really particularly brightens my day because it has a character who you find out in this book is actually asexual, and I didn't know that was coming. And I just got so excited when we got to that paragraph and I realised that that was where it was going and that was what she was meaning and what she was talking to Sophia about, and I just got so excited because I just love seeing more ace rep, and usually I have to go out of my way to try and find it, whereas this was one that just popped up and I didn't know it was coming, and it just made me grin from ear to ear. Now, a book with yellow on it, I'm going to go with the second Bowman book of the tag, which is Harley in the Sky. This is a book about a girl whose parents run a circus and she wants to be a trapeze aerialist, but they keep insisting that she needs to go to college first for a backup plan. But she doesn't want to do that. She hates studying, she hates academics, she just wants to be an aerialist. So she runs off and joins a rival circus troupe and, you know, gets taken on as an apprentice there. And she meets all the different people there. There's a romance that she has going on with one of the people, and it's a really, really great book as she sort of comes to terms with her own sort of mental health and identity and her relationship with her mother. It's really great, and yeah, it's a very yellow cover and I love this book so much. What is your favourite summer beach read? I don't really go to the beach all that much because it's Baltic usually, so I don't really know, but I am actually going to go with Six of Crows and the duology as a whole, because I remember reading it when I was on holiday down in England with my family, and it was one of, you know, we used to go on sort of these cottage holidays after we went to visit my relatives, and we quite often go to the beach. I remember that was where I first read Six of Crows, and, you know, obviously fell completely in love with it. And I remember I had it on my ebooks, and then I could go and read it just down at the beach, and I do actually remember, yeah, as I said, I do remember just actually reading this on the beach. So yeah, I think, you know, the nostalgia. And it was so fun reading this book series as well, because I'd just come off of reading the original Shadow and Bone trilogy, which I hadn't enjoyed that much, but I'd heard everyone be like, oh no, Six of Crows is better, and they were right, and it was amazing. And I read both of them in like 3 days, so yeah, good beach read. So, anticipated book that had you running for the ice cream truck. Bonus if you name an anticipated release this summer. So yeah, I think, well, I've got a couple that have already been released, but I remember that I was anticipating them so much, like I was literally running to the bookshop when they got released. So the first one is Witch Shadow, which I actually was lucky enough to get an early copy of. This just got released the other day on the 22nd, and I believe actually I'm filming this on the 24th, on Thursday. I believe actually this is the official UK release date, so yeah, I've been so excited for this. I did a whole week on my channel where I did Witchlands Week content. Like, I was so excited for this, and it was definitely worth the wait. I was, you know, and I happened to just come across an early copy of it just on the shelves in Morgenstern, so of course I bought it and then I read it, so yeah, this was very fun. And another one that I'm always looking for the next series is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Coghran. This is the 7th book that came out last December. And a similar thing to Witch Shadow, I thought it was coming out a couple of days later, and then when I was just in, I saw it and I bought it immediately and like read it in a day because they're quite short, and it's just brilliant. And I've just found out literally yesterday that the next book, potentially the last, is called The Untold Story. It has a cover and it's coming out this December, which is so exciting, and I'm so anticipating that so much. And then another one that's coming out soon that I'm really anticipating is Iron Widow by Jiren Zhao. This is a book that I have discovered through the author's YouTube channel. I've seen them sort of do their breakdowns of different films with potential Chinese cultural inspirations in it, which are really interesting to watch. And I'm very much looking forward to their book. It sounds fantastic, it sounds so fresh and interesting, and I'm definitely going to be counting the days until it gets released. What book has left you with a bad ending? And I'm going to have to go with Sorcerer to the Crown by Zhao. This was a book that my friend got me for Christmas, and yeah, I didn't particularly love it all the way through, but I did enjoy the stuff that was happening, but particularly the ending, I just didn't like it. I didn't like how it ended. I just didn't like how it ended at all. Wasn't a fan at all, but I'm definitely going to give this author another chance because I'm not sure. The writing did really bother me, but I wasn't sure if that was perhaps just the attempt at writing the sort of almost Victorian England sort of prose type idea. So they have another book coming out that has a really long title, I can't remember, but it's got a beautiful cover. I will put it here. I think I'm definitely going to be checking this book out because it sounds really interesting, and just look at that cover. Look how pretty that is. What book gave you the happiest feeling when it ended? And for that I'm going to go with The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is probably the last... you know how you get those books that you stay up really late reading because you just cannot stop? This was probably the last time that has happened to me. It doesn't happen to me often, but it did happen to me with The Starless Sea, and I just remember every time I read this I just leave it with such a grin on my face. It's so weird and mystical and atmospheric, and I still never quite understand the ending. I like how it ends. I think it ends really interestingly, and it's fun and so whimsical, and just, yeah, it just always leaves me with a sort of, yeah, that was a good book sort of feeling, so yeah. What book cover reminds you of a sunset? One, I'm going with Firekeeper's Daughter. This is a sort of mystery sort of book, kind of thriller-esque, sort of a Nancy Drew investigative sort of book about an Anishinaabe girl who witnesses a murder and gets involved in a sort of FBI investigation into the drug-related deaths in her community. And yeah, just this cover is honestly gorgeous. I think just because of like the flames and stuff, and even just the sort of circle does definitely remind me of a sunset. And yeah, it's a really great book. I definitely really recommend it. And yeah, just that cover. And what is one book series that you want to read this summer? Now, I'm not just going with just one book series. I have many that I want to read, especially just some of them as well I think are standalones. So without any further ado, Fireborn and Flamefall, I definitely want to get to reading those. I've recently seen a bunch of reviews and so many people are talking about how good this book series is, so it's definitely been bumped up to the top of my TBR. I want to read this book called Timekeeper. It's one that's been on my TBR for quite some time, and I'm just in a really sort of, you know, steampunk sort of mood at the moment. I kind of want to read some books, which is also why I want to read Clockwork Dynasty. Another sort of steampunky type book, I believe, and again, I'm just in that mood. I really want to read books like this. The Library of the Dead has just come out, and it's sort of set in Edinburgh, which I love when books are set in places that I've been to. I actually lived in Edinburgh for a year when I went to college, so it's quite fun to be able to actually imagine the places, because I have been around sort of, you know, Old Town Edinburgh quite a lot, and it is quite fun to be able to see places and things that I've actually been to, so definitely looking forward to reading that. And Mr. Impossible, which is the second book in the Dreamers trilogy by Maggie Stiefvater. Yeah, that's just come out. I really need to get to that. I read Call Down the Hawk last year. I'm really enjoying this sort of spin-off of the Raven cycle. Like, you still follow Ronan, but you're also following Declan a lot more, which I really enjoyed seeing, as well as this new character that you're getting used to. And I'm really enjoying that so far. It has similar vibes to the Raven cycle, but also completely different, and I'm really enjoying that. And also Blackwing's Beating is another book that's just recently come onto my TBR, and I just really want to get to it. There's something about this book series that's just, for some reason, it's just in the back of my head being like, you need to read this, you need to read this. So yeah, once I've gotten through my current sort of book pile, and hopefully if I get my library card sorted out, I'll hopefully be able to get hold of some of these books. So yeah, that's sort of the ones I want to get to. And yeah, that's the answer to my questions. So what do you think? Have you read any of these books? And what are your thoughts on them all? And what are your responses to all these questions? I would love to hear from you. If you want to do this book tag, consider yourself tagged, and please let me know if you do this tag because of watching my video. Like if you are taking this as your tagging, please tell me. I'd love to see your answers to these questions. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again to John for tagging me in this. I've really enjoyed doing all these tag videos, and again, just thank you so much as well for being so like welcoming and kind, and everyone please go check out his channel. He's lovely. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.